Guys, Alex Kapitko here, and this is the Centered from Reality podcast. Nice, beautiful, sunny Friday. Rained, snowed yesterday. You know, the usual BS, but I think it's starting to warm up. We have some warmth on the horizon here. I hope everyone's had a good week, and looking forward to the weekend. I just wanted to start with saying that the great battle of our time is getting more and more heated. And by the great battle of our time, I mean the Ron DeSantis versus Disney feud, which is apparently heating up and going in a bad direction. Now, I'm kidding. It's obviously not the biggest issue in the world, but apparently yesterday, DeSantis signaled support for stripping Disney of this 55-year-old special status that it has, which basically allows the company to operate as an independent government entity around the Orlando park. I don't know about Disneyland, but I think Disneyland in California has something similar as well. But this is all stemming because apparently Disney spoke out finally against the Don't Say Gay bill, right? Which DeSantis, I believe, signed into law on Monday. And Disney basically just put out a statement saying their goal was to get the bill reversed. And DeSantis is not happy. And ironically, the Republican Party, which is, the one that always rallies against cancel culture, are trying to cancel Disney. And I was listening to the Bulwark podcast earlier, and they were talking about how if you go on Fox News, that's pretty much all they're covering on some of the shows. I haven't actually checked that out yet, but maybe tonight I'll see. But it's just funny with all the things going on in the world right now. Disney's now the big one, right? And look, this Don't Say Gay bill, it obviously doesn't apply to everyone. It applies to younger schools, right? I think elementary school age children. But I worry that there's this cruelty that's coming out of it where it's creating a permission structure for people to pick on gay and trans youth and their families. That's my issue here, is that this bill is just going to allow people to be assholes to people that really are vulnerable and shouldn't be treated poorly. And so I think it's good Disney spoke out, because Disney's not always been the most progressive in social issues, but it's just not a good bill. And I think now it's created a framework for other states to do it as well. And I think it's good that Disney called him out. And of course they're going to oppose it. It's not popular in the United States. There's been a lot of backlash. They're a global company, so this doesn't really look good on their image. It just makes total sense, and DeSantis is just becoming more and more of a joke in my eyes. But by joke, I guess I also probably mean someone who is popular enough to maybe become president. So I guess one man's joke is another man's president, something like that. But I'm a bit conflicted here on the other thing, is because I do not think that Disney should have a special status either that lets them pretty much make their own policies and laws and get out of paying specific taxes. That also, I think, is a problem. Money really talks in this case. I do remember back at Chapman during my undergrad years doing a case study about Orange County, because Anaheim, which is right next to where I went to school, is where Disneyland is. And it was about the hotel children and the people that worked at Disneyland who were not paid enough to even afford apartments. So they were kind of bouncing from hotel to hotel. And kind of the idea of what we talked about in class was how, the city of Anaheim, was what was home to the happiest place on earth, which is Disneyland, but not for the people working there, and Disney did not pay any taxes in the city and was quite greedy and kind of was very influential in the city's politics. And I would assume that the same is happening in Disney World in Florida because they've been given this special status. So I think these companies need to be part of the community, not separate, right? And that I guess maybe we'll get two good things here. Maybe Disney will keep rallying against this atrocious bill, and maybe DeSantis will get rid of Disney's special status. So we'll kill two birds with one stone. I don't know, something like that. Also, it looks like Biden did kind of lie a little bit about Hunter Biden. I don't think Hunter Biden is, the worst person on the planet. I think he's just an addict, which there's a lot of addicts out there. And a troubled person who took advantage of his dad's role to profit off of it. I don't think it's any big deal if you look at the majority of other candidates and other politicians and what their children have done. I mean, I guess you could say Hunter Biden at least doesn't work for the Biden administration. I mean, Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump and all them, they sure profited off of Trump as president and actually were in the administration. So this is not a whataboutism. I think it's really bad, actually, that New York Post story, like a year and a half ago or whatever, was covered up. I don't know why they decided to cover up that story, because now it's made it a big deal, and it shouldn't have been a big deal, right? I mean, Hunter Biden is just kind of a shady dude who was using his dad's influence, and I don't think this really reflects poorly on Joe Biden himself. He seems to me to just be a guy who's stuck with his son, but at the same time, like, the fact they've covered this up is just kind of nuts to me, and now it's a big deal, and now it's going to feed all these right-wing narratives, all the conspiracies, the Biden laptop. Just kind of annoying, honestly. I'm just sick of the media. I don't really have, honestly, anything else to say about that, because there's really nothing to talk about there except for just negligence and the media, again, just almost fueling conspiracies because of their negligence. I'll move on, though. Another quick story kind of involving the media as well before we get to the main stuff here is that Axios reports today that Jen Psaki, White House press secretary, is planning to leave the White House this spring for an MSNBC gig. So, they're losing Rachel Maddow and about half their people, and their numbers are down. But hey, at least they're going to get Jen Psaki, I guess. Psaki, sorry. And the article goes on to say that Psaki is now is in exclusive talks with MSNBC, and the deal is nearly final. It was reported by Puck last month that Psaki also had conversations with CNN and other networks. Now, I guess she can't actually sign anything yet or, finalize the deal for ethics reasons because she is in the White House. But she leaves in May, from what I've gathered, and will likely go right ahead and join MSNBC as I'm guessing, a talk host or a correspondent or something like that. I actually didn't see it in the story, and quite frankly, whatever. I am honestly, though, sick of this kind of revolving door between the media and politics. That's kind of my big issue here, is that, politicians and the media wonder why people don't trust CNN and Fox and MSNBC. It's because these people go right from the White House to a newsroom, right? It's not fair and balanced. It's partisans who worked for a politician who are now doing a talk show about the said politician. It's not just Jen Psaki, obviously. Kayleigh McEnany is now on Fox News. I can think of some other one. I'm stalling right now, but it happens quite frequently, and it's just kind of exhausting. It's like, no wonder people don't trust the news when it's just politicians going on there. No, you need news correspondents, people that cover the news, not make the news, right? And yeah, it's just kind of irritating to me. That's why I prefer podcasts and reading The Atlantic or The Economist or Men's Health if I need a break, just because what are you learning if you just have Jen Psaki, who obviously is a Democrat who agrees with Biden's policies to an extent. Now she's going on MSNBC to give her perspective. We kind of already get her perspective every day. And the last thing I'll also say is that Madison Cawthorn strikes again. I just wanted to add that the Republicans, have been pretty silent about a lot of the awful things people like him and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert have said. But apparently it was the final straw, because Madison Cawthorn basically said that, that orgies and cocaine were very common in D.C., and I guess that was what did it. So now the Republicans finally are speaking out against Madison Cawthorn. I guess when you bring up orgies and cocaine, that's just too much. So Kevin McCarthy's actually intervened. I mean, who cares? But it's just funny that that's what actually gets them to finally call him out. Not, his comments about Zelensky being a thug, Ukraine being corrupt, the fact he went to Hitler's vacation home like a year ago for a vacation, his lies, his driving with an expired license, trying to bring a gun on a plane. I guess none of those are bad, but, he said orgies and cocaine. So, yeah, none of it makes sense.